I want to talk about that tax the rich component because that's what he wants Governor Kathy Hochul to do. Tax the 33,000 New Yorkers making above $1 million a year. Tax them 2% increase there. Also tax the richest, most profitable corporations in New York. You're for that. Do you think Governor Kathy Hochul will get on board? Do you think she should?
I will let the governor speak for herself, but I think she's made it very clear already that this is a it's not even an option on the table, right? She feels as if, by taxing these corporations and these individuals who are earning over 1 million a year, 2%, it's going to drive them out the city. Now, do I totally agree with that? No, I think New York City offers something that is lucrative. I think New York City is the financial capital of the world. I don't think that these billionaires are all going to disappear overnight. That's my personal take on it. Should she eventually look at these options? Absolutely. I honestly believe that the wealth gap has grown so excessively. These corporations have made billions upon billions on the backs of working people. And then you look at the Wall Street bonuses this year, right? Wall Street has done extremely well this year. So, and I'm not saying Wall Street has not covered a lot of the public goods that we're talking about, whether it's infrastructure and other things that we need their support, and as they pay their taxes and the Wall Street bonuses come in. But at the same time, it is absolutely something that we should never take off the table. And whose side are we on? Are we on the side of the workers, who are trying to skate by at Amazon? Are going to stand for the mom and pop store, the person washing the dishes, the street vendor on Corona in Corona Plaza? Those are the people I want to stand with, and I think billionaires have done extremely well. And absolutely, we should be. We eventually have to find the political courage to get this done.
There is criticism, though, that these these big businesses, these wealthy corporations, they hear the potential of this wealth tax, they're out. They leave New York, they go to a more tax friendly state. Or if you have someone making over $1 million in this post COVID world where they can work anywhere, they could say, you know what, when's enough? Why am I paying this much when I could go to a more tax friendly state? Then they leave, their tax revenue streams gone. I mean, what do you say to that?
Well, the bottom line is Florida is a nice place, but it's not New York City. Texas is a nice place. It is not New York City. And I think they will find that, one, our workforce here is so potent, right? Our vibrancy, we've had a lot of issues coming through COVID, but we can see that the city is becoming safer, right? We had one of the safest Januaries in history in New York City under the Mamdani administration. So I, of course, don't want to lose any money, but I would find it hard that we would see this huge flight of billionaires out of New York City. I mean, they love their penthouses on Fifth Avenue. I mean, where are you getting that in Wyoming? It could be tax friendlier, but it's not New York City.
I know that historically during an election year, saying, hey, I'm going to raise taxes on X, Y, or Z, that's not usually popular, right, amongst voters. Do you think the fact that it is an election year, do you think that's having any impact on how Governor Hochul is saying, I'm not raising taxes on the rich here?
Well, listen, I mean, politics is always going to play into, especially during a campaign year. So, I know the governor. I worked extremely close with her. She's done very good by Queens County, but also, this is an election year, and she does have a general election. And I meant for her to say, I'm going to support 9.5% increase in property taxes, has given Bruce Blakeman a great talking point, even as the Democrats try to take back the House, make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House. We don't need to give Republicans talking points. This is what the Dems are going to do. You see, they just want to tax you. They want to tax the middle class. I mean, I could write the script myself, right? So I think the timing definitely is not great. And if I'm the governor, it's playing into my equation as well. But also, the governor just dropped 1.5 billion extra to the city. I think Mayor Mamdani can arguably go back to her and the state leaders and say, hey, we need a little bit more. So the gap, originally was 12 billion, a little bit over 12 billion. Then it comes down to 7. And then, yesterday it came down to, I think, about 5.4 billion. So, there are a myriad of things we can be looking at. One of the things I always, as somebody who sat on the budget negotiating team in the council, said is we need to look at police overtime. The police department excessively abuses their overtime. So could we look at cost savings there? The Center for the Urban Future, I think, put out a plan today. Could we do parking permits and charge? Could we put up more parking meters, which would generate close to 1.3 billion in revenue a year, right? So we need to look at every tool in the toolkit and toolbox before we go to the middle class and say, you're going to pay for it again. The middle class always bills out the city, and it's about time that Wall Street does it, not Main Street.
Do you think then that this was Mayor Mamdani trying to negotiate in a perhaps tough way, saying there is no option 3? Option 1, Governor Hochul, if you don't tax the wealthy, then we have no choice. Our hands are tied. We are giving the middle class in New York this property tax increase. We're hiking up those taxes. That's not popular by really anyone I've talked to so far. Then we have Governor Hochul saying, I'm not doing that tax increase. So what do you think option 3 is? And how would a potential option 3, despite Mamdani saying there is no option 3, how would that make New York more affordable for the everyday New Yorker?
Listen, I think the property tax reform stuff, like if he can do that, that can yield billions in itself, right? Making people pay their fair share of taxes. Somebody in central Brooklyn or southeast Queens should not be paying more than some brownstone owner in Park Slope whose brownstone is worth $5 million, opposed to a home that's worth 700,000. We're paying 5 times the amount on property taxes than that owner. So absolutely, that should be option 3. I know he's sending a bill to Albany to examine this and to have them examine this. And then just getting back to options 1 and 2, and him. And if you know anything about the governor, she doesn't necessarily run from a fight, and she's pretty firm. So she's saying it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And maybe next year. I mean, I don't want to say we should do these things because it's an election year. It's not an election year. I think we do as Democrats have to look at this seriously. I think anybody, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, conservative, whatever you are, progressive, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is billionaires are making more, and our city's becoming less affordable. So we do have to solve for this issue in the long term. But in the short term, what we can do is definitely look at those efficiencies through his saving officers in each agency. Go back to the state. I'll go lobby Kathy Hochul for more money if I need to. Count me in on that. And then thirdly, let's get this property tax reform stuff done, because I think that will enable us in the long term to close these gaps.